Oh, hey there. So, there is a scripture, it's Psalm 23, that says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And maybe you're going through that valley of the shadow of death right now, or so it seems. But I want to let you know that there's a real place called the valley of the shadow of death. This is not it. However, interesting, right? Beautiful. Now, here's what's interesting about the valley of the shadow of death. It's so deep and so narrow that sunlight never touches the bottom. Like as the sun goes over, the angle, it never gets to the bottom. And so they call it the valley of the shadow of death. But the valley of the shadow of death is not your final resting place. The valley of the shadow of death is a place that you go through to get to higher ground. Now here's what happened. David would, and other shepherds, would graze their sheep down low, and then they would eat up all the grass, enough of the grass that it wasn't, they needed to get some more. And they would go through the valley of the shadow of death to get to higher ground. And here's the way that Psalm 23 goes, okay? It says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Let's stop right there. So the sheep would get spooked, okay? And if they did, the shepherds would sing to them, and they would know, like, my shepherd is close, I'm safe. But if they got really spooked, which happens to us sometimes, he would lay his rod on the back of their neck to let them know, I'm not just here, I'm right here, and you're going to be okay. And they'd be like, nothing's going to touch me if he's right here. And you're like, that's right. That's right. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Anyway, so then your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And then it says, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. So you get to the top, and he's like, don't eat yet. Don't go running in there. There's danger. Let me go first. If we let God go first, then here's what he does, okay? There was poisonous asps, snakes, and nose flies. They got in their nose and laid eggs and would get in their sinuses and drive them crazy. And he would go around and he would pour oil on all the snake holes so that if the snake tried to strike, it would slip and not get a good strike. And also, they didn't like the smell of it, and so they would abandon their holes and be like, let's go down the road somewhere. Our neighborhood's, this neighborhood's going to crap. And so they would leave. But then it says, you anoint my head with oil. And here's why. He would pour oil onto their heads so that if he missed a snake hole and the snake was there, he would be repulsed by the smell of the oil and be like, ugh, and go away. Also, the nose flies would fly all around, but they wouldn't get on them because of the oil, because they were anointed, okay? Their head was anointed with oil, and so they literally had a table prepared before them in the presence of their enemies that would not hurt them because they were anointed. That's pretty encouraging. Then it says, my cup overflows. Why is that? Because sheep are fickle. They don't want to put their face down in anything. Even though it was more hassle, the shepherd would drop the bucket down in the well and pull the bucket back up and pour it and do this many, many times until the trough was overflowing with water so that they could just lick right at the top, because they're fickle. And so are we. We have so much more than what we need, and yet God overflows us with blessings, even though it's more hassle, to let us know, I love you, I know how you are, I'll give you more than what you need, right? And surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. So if you feel like you're going through the valley of the shadow of death, take heart. This is something you're going through. This is not your final destination. At the top, you're at higher ground, and God is there with you every step of the way. Love you guys.